Cold water, black bottom. A nuclear submarine hovering a few feet above the seafloor while two divers inch along a cable no thicker than a garden hose. Their lifelines pump hot water through their suits. Their mission: clamp a listening pod onto the Soviet Union's most trusted telephone line and leave without a ripple. This was Operation Ivy Bells. It's 1971. The Cold War has pushed both superpowers into a permanent chess match of missiles, satellites, and spies. But the most valuable pieces aren't always rockets or radars, they're conversations. Tucked in the Sea of Okhotsk, waters the Soviets considered their backyard, runs a seabed cable linking fleet headquarters to the submarine base at Petropavlovsk on Kamchatka. The Soviets think it's safe because it never touches the air. That assumption will cost them. The American plan is audacious. Send a specially modified submarine into those closed waters, find the cable, and attach a device that records the traffic without breaking the insulation, so nothing on the Soviet end looks wrong. The boat is USS Halibut, a former cruise missile sub rebuilt for spy work. She carries skids for seafloor hovering, cameras, and bolted to her deck an odd mini-sub shape. It isn't a mini-sub at all. It's a fake deep submergence rescue vehicle shroud. Inside is a pressurized chamber where divers can live and lock out at depth. The cover story hides the real work. But how do you find one cable on an ocean floor the size of a country? Captain James Bradley bets on human nature. If the Soviets lay cables, they'll also put up shore signs warning boats not to anchor. Follow the coastline, spot the signs, use them like breadcrumbs. The bet pays off. After weeks of careful navigation, Halibut traces a line of warning posts. Sonar and cameras confirm the prize lying about 400 feet down. On the bottom, the scene is almost gentle. Divers ease a 20-foot steel pod around the cable like a giant clamshell, never piercing the sheath. Inside, induction coils will listen through the insulation and spool everything onto magnetic tapes. If the Soviets ever haul the cable up for repair, the pod is designed to fall away and vanish into the silt. The team bolts it shut, checks the seals, and rides the lift back to Halibut. Ivy Bells is alive. What the tapes carry is gold. The Soviets are so confident in their internal line that much of the traffic is unencrypted. Maintenance chatter, readiness reports, even the tone of commanders when something goes wrong. Every few weeks, the Americans creep back in, swap out reels, and slip away to Pearl Harbor, where NSA analysts mine the conversations for insight into Soviet submarines and tactics. The first take is so rich that the Navy commissions a heavier, longer endurance version of the pod, nicknamed the Beast. The risks are extreme. Sometimes the sea itself tries to kill the mission. On one retrieval, a surface storm yanks Halibut against her anchors while divers are still outside. A parted line could fling the sub upward with the men dangling beneath it. Inside the boat, everyone knows where they are. Inside Soviet territorial waters, under patrol aircraft and listening posts. Exposure means an international crisis, or worse. For several years, the routine holds. When Halibut retires in 1975, other boats take over the courier runs: USS Parsh, USS Seawolf, and USS Richard B. Russell, slipping into the Okhotsk box, trading old tapes for new, and sliding back into the Pacific without a word. The intelligence stream helps the U.S. map out Soviet command rhythms and submarine operations across the Far East. Then, one day in 1981, American satellites spot something wrong. Soviet warships and a salvage vessel clustered over the cable route. When Parch dives to check the pod, it's gone. The Soviets have found the tap and fished it up, a public trophy for their counterintelligence. Back in Washington, investigators dig for the leak. The answer arrives ugly, and NSA analyst Ronald W. Pelton has sold the secret. He will later be convicted and serve decades in prison. With that, Ivy Bells ends. So what did Ivy Bells change? First, it proved that undersea infrastructure, the silent cables and nodes beneath the waves, is a battlefield. If you can touch the line, you can read the mind of the fleet on the other end. Second, it showed the power of plausible engineering. A tap that never breaks the sheath doesn't disturb the signal, and a diver chamber disguised as a rescue mini-sub doesn't disturb the story. Third, it revealed how one human betrayal can burn a decade of success in a single meeting room. The Ivy Bells crews built a playbook for the digital ocean to come. Precision navigation on the bottom, covert work at cable depth, modular pods that harvest data for weeks. and the discipline to repeat a hair-raising mission again and again without leaving fingerprints.